What's going on, folks? Welcome back to Michigan Great Outdoors. I'm your host, Jason Ostrowski, aka the Pollock, and today I have for you the new for 2024, the Lone Wolf Custom Gear Compact Doubles. Let's get stuck in. Alright, so here they are, the compact doubles. I've been fielding a lot of questions in my DMs recently, Instagram, Facebook. You guys can always reach out to me there with questions, but a lot of people have been asking about sticks. What do I plan on running this year? What do I think about these? I did pick these up. I believe I got them in like last January, and I got them on a Friday, and I took them out the box. I put them together, you know, a couple grommets and things, and I said I'm going to take these on my hunt Saturday. Went out, took 4 sticks, took a 3-step aider, and climbed up a tree and shot 3 does. So, you know, from going to getting them and taking them out in the woods, there was really nothing I had to do. The only thing that I did do to these sticks out of the box is I sanded these edges down on the Versatility, and I'll get to that in a little bit to discuss that. I ran these with the Custom Gear Ranger platform. I used the J-hooks. Worked phenomenally. I was actually impressed when I went up to that tree that first hunt, how quickly I went up the tree. It was dark, you know, I went in, it was snow on the ground, so it was a little lighter than usual, but I was able to get up the tree, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes. I was all set up, ready to hunt, and had a really great, successful meat harvest on that hunt. Now, looking at, you know, this year, for my setups, I run it primarily for a tree stand setup. I run that 0.5. I've been running it. I think this is going on my 5th or 6th season. I'm going to run that stand. I ran compacts for the regular compacts for 2 years. I ran those, I think starting in maybe 2020, maybe 2020-ish. I had the old rubber covered ones, and I really liked them. I ran them with cam straps, daisy chains, daisy webbings, am steel attachments. I ran them with all different attachment methods, and I really enjoyed those sticks. They're absolutely rock solid on the tree. Never had any issues with them. The issue that I ended up having eventually is I got sick of kind of like fiddling around with all this stuff. You know, you get out of the tree and you kind of got to like fold everything and get it all lined up good, and then you got to put the grommets together, lay it down on your stand nicely, use them J-hooks. And I had a couple years ago just several nights where I was climbing down in the dark and it was raining and I was dealing with these J-hooks and I was just getting frustrated. So I was talking to some buddies and they were like, man, you should try those double steps. So I went to the 14-inch doubles on my 0.5, and I really like those sticks for the simplicity of them, to not have to manipulate steps and stuff. And I don't think I'm going to change that, so I think I'm going to continue to use those 14-inch double step sticks on my 0.5. But where I see the biggest advantage here is for saddle hunting. Now, you guys know I have a saddle on here. This is a Latitude Lone Star. Hoping to pick up that new Method 3 saddle here soon. That looks really intriguing, but I do like to saddle hunt. I don't saddle hunt as much in bow season. I like to do it in firearm season, rifle season, but I'm always looking for a double step stick in saddle season. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's later, it's cooler, what, you know, colder weather, you know, you have more layers on, you might have a bib on, and I just feel more comfortable on that double step stick. And traditionally I was running B sticks. B sticks are phenomenal sticks. I would rank them in the top 5 all-time stick. The thing about B sticks is they suck to pack. So when I saw these come out, I was just like, man, like for saddle hunting, I think that these would be ideal because you have this new butterfly step, you have the rotating standoff, and so you're going to be able to get a double step and, you know, be able to also get that compact nature. Really, there's no other stick, I believe, on the market that really folds up as neat and as organized as this stick here. And what's really nice is when you put them together, you can put 2 on each sides of your backpack, and you're gonna have a nice streamlined setup that's gonna work really well. Kind of looking at the specs of the stick, It is a 17-inch step to step. It currently is only offered in one size. I don't know if they're ever going to offer it in other sizes or not. I did find it to be a little bit heavier than the original 17, which is right here on my hip. This one I had at 1.74, and the new one I had at 1.84. So it's just, you know, 1/10 of a pound heavier, not a big deal. Now these are, you know, they're up there in price. These are, I think, $125 a stick if you buy a 4-pack, and then if you buy them individually, they're $150. I think that's probably a little steep on the price, to be honest. You kind of up there with the tethered 1-sticks. Tethered 1-sticks are quite a bit lighter. You do have more features in this stick, so it's kind of like, you know, I don't set the prices, but it's like, you know, what do you weight it on? Do you care more about the lightweight, or do you care about the features? I do wish that these were probably more like $450 for a 4-pack, but like I said, I don't set the prices. The one thing that I do feel better about, or more comfortable about with Lone Wolf Custom Gear, you're never gonna have a subpar product. I have never heard of any sticks ever breaking in the history of custom gear that weren't ran over by somebody's truck. So they are a solid company on the mobile hunter market, and that's why I use a lot of their gear, because I trust it. I've always been a bigger guy. You know, last year when I ran these sticks, I was probably pushing, with my hunting gear on, I was probably pushing like 280 on these sticks, and I had no issues, no bending. There is a little bit of twisting in the material when you're on it. Like if you're on the top step and you're kind of rocking a little bit, there is going to be a little flex in here, but it doesn't appear to be an enormous amount of flex. It doesn't appear to be so much flex that it would bend and kind of hold its position. It kind of just moves a little bit and comes right back. Now the double step here, the butterfly step as they're calling it, it's very interesting. They are very thin. I think that these are probably maybe the thinnest step on the market. I was worried about that when I got them. I was like, man, these are gonna be so thin. It's gonna be hard on my boots, hard on my hands. I was surprised when I went up the tree on that hunt. I didn't feel that at all. Now I do wear mechanics gloves, mechanics brand camo gloves if I have them. If not, I'll just wear the black or gray ones. And I had you know, Solomon hiking boots on, so I didn't really feel any pressure. I have tried them in rubber boots. I really don't notice it either, so I don't think it's really an issue. Kind of looking at the actual stick here, the colors are a little bit different, and I don't know if it's just because they were painted somewhere else, or the anodizing's different, or what I'm hopeful is that this material is actually a different material. As everybody knows, 6061 has kind of been the gold standard in the mobile hunting industry for aluminum, but now this 7 series aluminum has came out. I don't know if these are 7 series steps. I hope they are, and I kind of think they are, because they just feel more rigid. And if they were 7 series steps, you know, 7 series aluminum, that would kind of probably warrant the higher price, because that's a higher grade aluminum. It's going to be more expensive. I do like the standoffs on these sticks. They do rotate. You do have some fiddle factor in here. Now, these will loosen up over time. You know, as you're hunting throughout the season, you're probably going to have to keep a wrench or a socket in your truck, and that's what I do. I have a little toolbox in my truck that has a little, you know, 7/16 or 1/2 inch, whatever you need, so you can just give it that little quarter of a turn. You know, if you come out for a morning hunt and then, you know, you're at the truck eating lunch and you remember your one standoff's loose, just give it that quarter of a turn. And one of the primary benefits of this rotating standoff is when you set it on the tree, gravity and just physics is going to determine how these standoffs kind of set. And as you can see on this stick right here, I have one on an angle, this one's on a different angle here, and it really does allow these sticks to lock into the tree. You can see they have a very impressive standoff height. So you're going to get a ton of boot room on these sticks, which is very important to a lot of guys. I think if you have oversized 11 boots, you really need to, you know, factor in boot room. So looking at the key features here, obviously, is the butterfly step. What's cool about this is if you do want to run an aider, this is a 3-step backwoods mobile gear aider. I always run backwoods mobile gear aiders. I think they're the best on the market, the most solid. They're a little more pricey, but you know, you're paying for that quality price. If you want to run it in a 3-step aider configuration or hang an aider off the bottom step, you're able to do that with these sticks. Now, I did hockey tape this. I had to do the hockey tape really tight, and I hockey tape it because I want to protect the integrity of my webbing here. But I was able to hockey tape that and get it on there, you know, where it's still able to close. So I can actually, if I take this off, it will close. I can fold both of these steps up. I'll just do that for you real quick. I can still fold both of them up. I had to put the tape on really thin and get it really tight, but it does work. I like to run that aider off of the bottom step. Sometimes I'll actually run 2 of them. So I'll put this stick up as high as I can get it. I could probably put this up another, you know, 8 inches or so. I'll get this stick up as high as I can get it. I'll go up, and then on the next stick, I'll do the same thing. So I'll use 2 3-step aiders, which will allow me to get up as high as I need to go. You know, there's a big craze right now with everybody wants to hunt low. I hunt low in the swamp, but when I'm in the timber, generally, a lot of times I got to get up high. I like to be, you know, 18, 20, 22 sometimes. So those 3-step aiders will really allow you to do that. What's nice is you can decide which, if you want to just run them like the traditional compact sticks, you can do that. So you can put them on one side, like say, you know, if you're in a hurry and you just want to zip up the tree real fast and you want that thicker grab or whatever, you can do that. So, or you can run it, you know, as the butterfly, the double step. It's pretty versatile in that, you know, manner, and that's what's so appealing about this stick. You can see on this stick I have a cable aider. This is, I believe, the 17-inch cable aider. It's different from the old cable aider. So when you buy these on the website, you have to actually go on there and choose which stick, because the hole size for this stick is actually smaller. So it'll come with the aider, it'll come with the hardware, and you can see this whole stick bottom kind of down here. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but this was all redesigned, and I'm assuming it was redesigned so it would be easier to put an aider on the bottom here. So you can put a cable aider if you want. You know, you're able to move it up really easily. You know, you can use this Versatility because it has this spot here that's kind of cut out now that you could jam it in there. One thing that, you know, is I think beneficial of going to those mobile hunter road shows is you can see how other guys run their sticks or their setups. And I noticed that, you know, guys were taking their cable aiders and they were kind of jamming it in the cleat. And I did notice that the coating on the aider was getting chewed up a little bit. And that's just kind of, well, you can even feel right now. I just did it right now and it's kind of scratched a little bit. And I don't like when my gear gets like tore up like that. And part of the problem is this Versatility. So this Versatility is a really awesome new design. It's a Versa button that's been, you know, shaped a little differently, and it's got some cutouts in there. The problem is when you put those cutouts, modern, you know, aluminum machining, it's so precise. It just puts such a perfect 90-degree angle on there. You get these super sharp edges, and unfortunately, I don't know how you get rid of those other than, you know, having some sort of machine or manual process to sand that down. Should custom gear pay for that? I mean, I would love to see them come out with sticks that have, you know, Versatilities that aren't as sharp, because they will tear up your strap here. And this is the new strap that comes with it, the 1/2-inch strap. You know, there's not a lot of strap there, and I don't want to be chewing my strap up. So when I mentioned earlier in the video, when I got these sticks, the only thing that I did with these when I got them out of the box, other than putting the rubber grommets in, is I sanded these cleats. I know it's a pain in the ass. We shouldn't have to do that when you're spending a premium amount on these products, but it is what it is. So I went with some like 500 grit sandpaper and I sanded these out really good, and then I actually put some hockey tape around the Versa button area. I don't have any on this stick because when I hunted off of it I used a cam strap, but I'm going to tape these up. I'm also going to sand these as well, because I don't like those micro cuts in my straps. I don't like little tears in my straps. I want this strap to last forever. It is a thinner strap, so this is what it comes with. It's I want to say it's like an 8-foot strap, a 1/2-inch strap, and I've never actually saw a method of how you tie these on. The only thing that I always do is when I go around the tree and I come around, I always make sure I come through the bottom first. That way the stick's kind of like hanging on that bottom. And then I just kind of wrap it around once, and then you just kind of figure eight it. I mean, I don't think there's really a rhyme or a reason on how you hang these sticks. You just get them secure. You can finish it with a half hitch on the end here just to have some extra, you know, make you feel good. But I mean, these sticks are solid. They're not going anywhere. This is a red oak tree. It's really hard. This bottom standoff isn't even really set that great because I didn't climb up this stick. But I mean, it's rock solid. These are a thinner strap. You know, being when I was heavier, you know, when I was hunting off them, I was pushing 280, 285. It did make me a little nervous. I'm not going to lie, you know, being a bigger guy. Now I'm down to like 241. So it does make me feel a little more comfortable with these. I will be keeping an eye on these straps to make sure there's no issues with them. But the nice thing about these sticks is you can run these with cam straps. You can run them with daisy chains, with Amsteel daisy chains, of daisy webbing. You can use this method here. You can use rope mods. The possibilities are endless. And I was actually pleasantly surprised when I put daisy chains on here how good they worked. And you can kind of go through, you can loop it through, or you can figure eight it. I mean, the possibilities are really endless on this stick. And I think that's maybe why the price is so much, just because it's designed to work across so many different avenues. As far as, I mean, there's really no tree that these won't go in. There's no strap that you can use. You can use multiple different aiders, different aider configurations. I think, where's that other one? Oh, right here. So this is, and I've been kind of playing around with these cable aiders. I'm not a major fan of cable aiders anymore. When I first started mobile hunting, I loved them. I thought they're the greatest thing ever. I've gotten more used to using the 3-step aider from Backwoods Mobile Gear, and I really like that aider because there's no metal on it. It's easy. I can take it off and put it in my pack. But there's a lot of guys that love cable aiders, and you can actually mount it this way. So you're going to get a nice, you know, open well for your boot to go in, which I think is much better than this way, because as you can compare side by side, I mean, look at the difference there. And if you're coming down in the dark trying to fish your, you know, your boot through there, that's going to be tough. So I do like doing it this way. Unfortunately, you run into, you know, issues with closing the steps. So you just have to see if it works for your setup. You can kind of put it like that. I'm sure there's other ways. Somebody will come up with, you know, a better way to maybe manage the tail end of the cable aider here. But it really is a versatile stick. You have a mounting option here. You can mount it here. I've also saw, believe it or not, where this was mounted here. And I think if you do that, it allows you to close the step a little better. Personally, I think I'm just going to go with my Backwoods Mobile Gear aiders, and that's what I'm comfortable with. All right, last but not least, the one feature that I wanted to talk about is the integrated MOLLE hook. So they did change it a little bit. It's kind of got these little nubs on there, and I believe that those nubs were installed to make it so they don't fall out of your MOLLE webbing. So whether you're wearing a saddle or like a TX5 minimalist or like a killdeer harness, you're gonna have some webbing at the top, that 1-inch webbing. So what I like to be able to do is to pull that stick off and climb with it. I did find with these new, it's a little bit harder to get them to slide in with the new MOLLE hook with the little nub on it. It's not the end of the world, and that's what I do when I'm getting ready to climb. I just spin my saddle so it's easier. Obviously, I still got some gut here that I have to kind of, you know, manipulate the belly region, but I try to just move that over here. I do like the old ones better, to be honest with you, just because, I mean, you could see how easily that slid off. But, I mean, it's not the end of the world. I'm assuming that maybe more people just wanted something that fit a little better. The one thing is, when you first start using these MOLLE webs, it is a little bit of a pain in the butt, you know, until you kind of break them in a little bit, because they're going to be really tight. If you've never put anything in those first couple loops, they're kind of really tight to the saddle. And once you use them a little bit, they start to kind of work out a little bit, and then you're good to go. And maybe that's what that design change is for, people that use that more. What's really nice is you can you know, you don't have to carry extra crap. You got all these guys with these 3D printing companies. They're selling all these clips and gadgets and different things so you can hang sticks off of yourself. But now you have a nice integrated solution. You know, you're able to just go right up the tree and you don't have to add any more stuff. You know, this mobile hunting game, it gets so complicated. You watch all these different videos, all these different products. There's all these little accessories to try to make life better, and some of them are really good and some of them are really crappy. So if I can eliminate things and just keep things simple, that's what I like to do. So the really nice thing about these sticks is obviously it comes with this really nice long strap, but then you can just roll them up like this, and then, you know, they're ready to go. When you do, you know, put these together with another stick, you know, you do have to manipulate it a little bit just so the rubber grommets land where they need to land, but I've had no problems with it. You know, I've ran these with J-hooks. I plan to saddle hunt with these with probably my Kuiu pack, so they're gonna have 2 on each side, so I don't foresee any issues with that. One of the things I did notice is, so this is a original 17-inch stick. This is one of the older versions, so it has the built-in Versa button, but you can actually put these together. So I was hoping that these sticks would be backwards compatible. One thing that I noticed though is they don't exactly line up because the sticks were a little bit redesigned, but I did put them on my 0.75 and I was able to set them on there with no issues. So while they might look a little goofy, it does appear to be backwards compatible. Why is that important? Well, if you only have, you know, 2 17-inch sticks and you want to save a little bit of money and just buy 2 of the new compact doubles, or maybe you just want 1 for your bottom stick, it does appear that you're able to do that. All right, so that's mainly what I wanted to cover today. I did want to just hop on here and make a video just kind of showing you some of the new features, some of the things that I like and don't like. Obviously, the things that I don't like would probably be the price and the fact that you have to sand those edges. You know, obviously I don't set the prices. I don't know what their costs of materials are. So it is what it is. Now, sanding of these, I wish there would be some way that we didn't have to do that. I don't think that, you know, micro cuts in your straps is acceptable personally, but you know, I've owned a lot of custom gear stuff and almost all of it's been that way, and I still continue to buy it, and that's because of the reliability and the trust that I have in these products. They just make a solid piece. And mobile hunting, you know, I want to go and hunt and have fun, and then I want to come home to my family. I don't want to have to worry about my gear. Is it safe? Is it going to break? Is it going to fall apart? And that's why I really do, you know, enjoy custom gear products. I do plan on keeping these sticks. I plan on saddle hunting, like I said, with them, and I will show you guys some footage. You can follow me on Instagram at Michigan_great_outdoors, or on Facebook, Michigan Great Outdoors, and kind of follow along with my season. I do show a lot of pictures and make more posts, and during season make a lot more stories kind of highlighting the gear I use. So if you haven't followed me on there, check me out. You can always send me questions or DMs. I always respond to everybody. You know, I am kind of getting busier in my job and my career now, so I do have a little more, you know, pull you know, at my work as well as my family. So I might not respond immediately, but I always respond to everybody. So if you have a question, if you think it's stupid, if you think it's dumb, shoot me a message and I'll get back to you. And get ready to see some cool videos coming up. I got something in the works here actually next week that I think you guys are gonna like. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so now, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.